Hello, everyone. In this week's episode of the Fiercely Spiritual podcast, I am going to talk about living intuitively, what exactly that means. I'm going to explain how it is a much better way of living your life. And I'm going to share with you a practice that you can begin to use straight away to start living intuitively. So I hope you're ready. It's going to be a really good one. And I know you're going to take away some really juicy tips to start implementing in your life immediately. So for those of you who haven't met me before, my name is Sandra Ray. I'm an author, healer, and spiritual teacher. And thank you so much for being here. I'm always delighted when you tune into these episodes on YouTube, on iTunes. And I know that your feedback has been phenomenal. I love hearing from you. So if you do want to leave feedback, you can post a comment below. You can share whatever your takeaways are from it. You can share with me on Instagram or Facebook, but please do leave a comment. I love hearing from you. So we are talking about living intuitively. Now, this is something that we are all growing more towards, and I was going to say we've all heard of how we're moving more back towards the feminine. It's been so long where we've been living from the masculine. Maybe you did know that, maybe you didn't. If you didn't, that's okay. Now you do. We are moving away from the masculine energy of pushing, forcing, making things happen. And we're moving back more into the feminine, which is the energy of allowing. It's going with the flow. It's working with nature's cycles. And when we work this way, we save so much energy. We allow ourselves to work with the universe rather than trying to push against it and force things to happen. Now, you can, of course, make things happen by pushing and forcing, and that does work for some people, but you are going to spend so much more energy working that way. It's probably going to take a lot longer, whatever you're trying to achieve, and you're going to end up probably burnt out by the end of it and wondering why you seem to always be tripping up over yourself, over obstacles. Whereas with the feminine flow, it's like things happen naturally, they happen easily. You go with the flow, with the cycles, you work with the universe, and it's this divine union. And it's so much easier. You save your energy, you conserve energy, and you can allow things to happen simply by setting an intention and then tuning into the right timing, tuning into the right actions, taking intuitive guided action rather than just taking action for the sake of taking action. And you'll find when you begin to work this way that the level of ease and joy and flow that you experience is going to be on such another level that you won't go back to working the other way. When I say working, I don't mean working as in your job. I'm just talking about operating day to day. So when you start living intuitively, you're living from that feminine energy of ease and flow. And of course, there has to be a balance. So there's going to be the masculine side of taking action. But when you do take action, it's going to be divinely inspired. And you're going to take action from a place of knowing that this is the right action, this is going to work out because it's divine inspiration, and you're spending less energy pushing and forcing. So there's a balance between the two. You're working with the feminine, you're working with the masculine, and you're allowing them to balance each other out rather than having the masculine totally outweighing the feminine and or vice versa. Excuse me. So when we work this way, you'll find that you open up to universal mind. You open up to new ideas, new ways of being, new ways of thinking. And with the masculine, it's usually we're working from our mental space. We're working from a space of being within the mind and being constricted to the ideas and thoughts that the mind comes up with. Recently, I was talking with a friend, and she was going through some pain and some stuff in her life that she was just fed up with. And she was saying how she just wanted to get rid of it, just be done with it. And while that's totally understandable, of course, none of us want to be in pain or be in suffering, she was closed off from looking outside of her thinking and the way she was seeing it to open up to new ideas or new ways that maybe she could heal, or new things that the universe might provide that could be solutions to the problem that she was going through. Because when we see problems from our limited perspective, when we are looking at them from the tiny little viewpoint that we have, then we're trying to solve them from that space, and that really doesn't work. So what I propose is becoming outrageously open to the universe providing solutions to seeming problems in your life that are beyond your level of thinking. And we don't open up to this enough because we think that we need to solve the problem. We think that we need to think it through, or we need to worry about it. And if we let it go and hand it over to the universe, we feel irresponsible almost. We feel that we should be actively working on problems because we have to solve this. And that's what we're taught in school when we have a maths problem, or when we're working through things in school. We're told to think about it. We're told to use the knowledge that we have and to work on it until we come to a solution. We're not told to hand it over to the universe and allow the universe to work away on it in the background. We're not told to go into our intuition, to go into our inner wisdom to seek out the answers. We're told to use our minds and to work it out. And that's what we've been taught to do. So it seems totally irresponsible when it comes to handing over our problems to the universe. It's like, well, I can't do that. The universe is going to solve my problems. No way. I have to work hard at solving my problems, and I have to work it out. And if that's where you're at, don't worry. Don't judge yourself. Don't berate yourself. It's okay. That's been a habit that we have all been doing for so long, but it's time to step away, to step outside those habits of trying to solve problems from our limited perspective. And the other thing is, just because your mind can't perceive the solution doesn't mean a solution doesn't exist. So if you're working on a problem and you can't think of a solution, you're going to think, well, I'm stuck. I'm stuck with this illness, or I'm stuck with this backache, or I'm stuck in this relationship, or I'm stuck in this career because I can't see a way out of it. So if your mind can't perceive the solution, then you're going to feel stuck. But if you open up to universal mind, where there are no problems, because universal mind already knows the solution before the problem even becomes a problem. So there's no problems because the solution already exists. So if you think about that for a moment, in your own mind, you have capacity to only see within the level of thinking that your mind is at. But if you open up to universal thinking, then suddenly you open up to plentiful solutions that you didn't even know existed, that they were outside your zone of thought, outside your clarity, outside your vision. So when you open up to living intuitively, you open up to universal mind, you open up to solutions. And that's how we start to live intuitively. So you might say, well, that's all well and good, but how do I do that? So how can you begin to do this today? It's like a muscle. You have to exercise it. You have to start small. Don't take the biggest problem in your life and try and hand it over to the universe, because you're going to probably freak out a little bit and you're not going to believe that the universe will solve it, and then you start to panic. So don't do that. Start really small. Start asking simple questions and tuning in. So you might get up in the morning and you might say to the universe, do I have a cup of green tea this morning, or do I have a cup of chamomile tea? And you tune in, you might hold each tea bag or each packet in your hand and just feel into it. Which one feels right? Which one feels that it's going to be better for your body? Do you need the caffeine in the green tea, or do you need the calming of the chamomile tea? And just feel into it and go with whatever feels right. And you might say, well, what if I'm wrong? If you're picking a cup of tea and you're wrong, It doesn't matter. But maybe you pick the chamomile tea, and maybe you have a calmer day than usual when you're usually drinking the green tea. And maybe then you ask another simple question. Do I go this route to work, or do I take this other route? Which route will have less traffic? And you've allowed yourself plenty of time to get to work, so it doesn't matter if one has a little bit more traffic or not. The point is, you start tuning in, you start asking those questions, and you start tuning in what feels right. And you're going to know what feels right because your body will feel more relaxed. The answer that doesn't feel so good, where your body tenses up a little bit, that's going to be the answer that you're not looking for. That'll be the sign that you're not meant to go down that path, or you're not meant to make that choice. So if you feel your body tensing up a bit, it doesn't have to be a lot. It can be really, really subtle. It can be just a slight shift in energy. Or if you feel your body, then you know you're not going to go down that route. If you feel your body relaxing, and you feel even just a slight relaxation coming into your body, then you know, okay, so that feels good. So I'm going to go with the better feeling choice. So start simple, start asking those simple questions, and start doing this for every choice that you're making. If you're eating and you're looking at a menu and you're wondering what to choose, what feels good, and just start doing this throughout the day. And that's how you exercise that muscle. And what you're going to do is, when you start seeing the results from those choices are positive and having a positive effect on your day, you're going to start trusting your intuition more. You're going to start trusting, okay, well, I can do this. I can make choices intuitively. I can live intuitively. And that's what living intuitively is about. It's about asking the questions each moment, making those decisions each moment based on what feels good, based on how your body reacts. And you can do this for everything. You can do it all day long. You don't have to stop. The more you do it, the better. So go out and practice this today, wherever you're at your day, even if it's the evening time. You can ask yourself the questions as you're getting ready for bed. Do I brush my teeth first, or do I wash my face first? Whatever it is, but just start asking, just start tuning in, seeing what feels good, and just go from there. And then you can start asking the bigger questions and making the bigger decisions, because you will trust that the answers will be the right ones. You will trust yourself because you've been practicing this. Exercise your intuitive muscles, and I will see you next week. Thank you so much for being here once again, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Bye bye.